Well, hello there. Welcome to Biblical Chili. Now listen, the cruise is just about to start, so let me fill you in on a few details if you've never been here before. You see, we speak openly about the Bible and our daily walk with Christ, and it's our continuing prayer that we help you grow closer to Jesus every day. Now, you might be wondering why it's called Biblical Chili. You see, around this table we have people from all walks of life, different histories, backgrounds, different futures, even different religious views. But even with all these differences, that shouldn't hinder us from carrying on a conversation. And you stepped in at a good time too, because the Chili Crew is walking through the Bible from cover to cover. And right now, they're in the book of Exodus. Moses talking to a burning bush, plagues, Exodus out of slavery, and the 10 Commandments. Woo! This gives me the collywobbles just thinking about it. All right, everyone, we will be starting in Exodus 19. Today we have a special guest, Antonio. All right, and Antonio has actually volunteered because Tom is still recouping, if you guys didn't know.
Yep.
So praise God, you sound normal.
Nasty. Do I sound...
You do. You sound relatively normal.
This is my first time hearing you, so I could...
Yeah, see?
Yeah, so it's normal. It's normal.
It's normal to me.
Sound normal to Antonio. Here we go.
Okay, so starting with verse 1. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness. And there in Israel camped before the mount. Well, they're Israel. They wasn't in Israel yet.
Yeah, so Israel, the nation, right? The people. So is this just rehashing similar to what we hit in chapter 14 or 15 when they were leaving? I think he's just recapping.
Well, in chapter 14, I do believe that's when Moses spread out his hand and divided the waters,
Yeah, but it kind of talked about that there, though, about Rephidim and camping outside the mountain of Rephidim before they crossed over. Okay.
Verse 3, I should say. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a particular treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
Is mine capitalized in yours?
No, it's not.
No, mine is capitalized.
It isn't mine.
Let me look at my NLT version here. It's right next to each other.
Yeah,
Verse 5, now you blah, blah, blah. Covenant, special treasure among peoples and earth, and it belongs to me. It doesn't even say mine. It just says belongs to me.
Mine is capitalized, capital M. Go ahead, Tom.
Mine is NIV here. If you obey me fully, I like that. It says indeed in the King James, and this one, if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all the nations you'll be my treasured possession.
Mine says special treasure. I like my special treasure.
What's changed? I mean, like for me reading this, like when I used to read this, it was like, if you do what I say, then I'm going to you're just going to be my favorite, and I'm going to do this magical thing for you. Just like they weren't necessarily connected. You do this, I'm going to do this for you. But it's like the more that I study what he talks about in his covenant and what he talks about, like what he says with his voice, you see that it's all his character and it's all these good guidelines. So it's like, instead, because you're doing this, you're going to be shaped into a holy people. You're going to be special, and you're going to be mine because you're going to be like me. It's like cause and effect.
What I like about this is still we're into Exodus, and from the beginning of Genesis to now, God is learning. God is learning how to deal with us. I was
going to say learning. Wait,
he's learning how dense we really are, because he gives us a clear now, us in hindsight, a clear instruction of what to do, what not to do, and then we follow it and break it. And then he gets a little more specific with the next time, and they follow it and break it, and a little more specific. And now this time he's like, if you fully listen to the words I'm saying.
We had the saying in the Marine Corps back when I was on active duty, and it was, let me break it down to you Barney style.
Oh, man.
One, put the foot in front of the other. No, anyway. Verse 6, and ye should be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Wait, did they say that in the New Testament too, didn't they?
Yeah, that's
A holy nation?
Yeah, that's in First Peter.
I was going to say
Peter's
First Corinthians. I
talking.
thought it was in 1 Corinthians.
Mm-mm.
I think
And,
it's a
well,
couple
maybe
places.
it might be in multiple places.
Okay.
But I know in Peter's letter he writes and he talks about how you'll be
Oh,
a kingdom of priests, a holy nation.
yeah, 1 Peter 2:5. Okay, so 1 Peter 2:5 says, you also, a living stone, are being built up a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. Yeah, a holy priesthood.
I love that because that just takes everything that we're reading right now and everything that we're going to read. And, it says later in Peter how, we need to study this and understand this. Like, what is a priest's duty? Because that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be the holy priesthood, and we're building up a temple. We're offering up spiritual sacrifices. So if we don't understand what the physical sacrifices were, how can we understand what spiritual sacrifices were? Because those physical ones were to teach a lesson, So, like, it just reiterates, all this stuff in this, first few books of the Bible. Like, it's so important to train us for what our job is.
Well, I'd agree in the term of ministries, but being honest, you can't be a priest unless you have a sacrifice. And since Christ is the ultimate sacrifice, we are now ministers, which is technically the word for ministers is priest, is also used in the New Testament.
All right, but we're offering up spiritual sacrifices. It says, that
Right.
we're supposed to offer up sacrifices of giving to the needy and doing all these things, and that's pleasing to God. It offers a pleasing aroma up to the Lord.
Yeah, the
Right.
pleasing
Just
aroma.
like,
yeah.
just like those sacrifices did. So we absolutely offer up sacrifices as priests. It's just not in the same form. We're not like, as we talked about last week, having a literal barbecue with animals, but it's what those things represented spiritually, of taking the best of what we have and giving it to God. But by giving it to others, we're actually giving it to God, where Jesus says, if you do any of these things unto your neighbor, you're doing it to me.
Right.
It's a sacrifice to me. So that's, yeah.
I also find this very interesting, and I've heard this before, that actually, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say it's almost half of the New Testament is actually quoting the Old Testament, just in different,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I don't think many Christians who have been in the faith a long time actually realize that. They'll, like, when people say, because I used to be, I'm a New Testament Christian. I thought that meant something until I started reading the Old Testament for myself when I was a teenager. And I'm like, wait a minute.
I remember the first time I heard that.
Wait a minute.
I went to a church, and one of the first things one of the ladies asked me is, do you keep the Old and the New Testament, or the Old or the New Testament? And I was like, wait, what?
Right.
There's an option?
It's all like, it's a continuous story.
I wanted to say how much hope that bringing that in from First and Second Peter there, that it is pretty much wash, rinse, repeat through the whole Bible. That it's not too late. There's always hope, because many, many, many years later, Peter's still saying the same things that Moses was told by God to tell to the Israelites.
Right. Absolutely.
And many, 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 many years later, we're still doing the same thing today, saying the same words to the people that we meet, the people that we sit in the pews next to, the people that we work with, the ones that we're related to. It's the same words of hope to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I can't remember where it's written, but there's nothing new underneath the sun.
Yeah.
And that's paraphrasing, of course. Was it Jesus himself said that the Old Testament is about me?
Yeah.
He said that to his disciples. It's all about me. So, of course, there's a lot of, when you read the New Testament, like you said earlier, you're going to find a lot of them quoting the Old Testament. And
Well,
that's for a good
what
reason.
Bible did they have? They had the
They
Old
had the Torah,
Testament.
yeah,
That's all
had
they
the
had.
Torah,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in fact, the New Testament really wasn't. I mean, it was put together before the Reformation, but the Valdaisians were the very first ones to really kind of coincide the two.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the New Testament, halfway through, or even a quarter of the way through the Gospels, or every Gospel, Jesus was what they had for the Bible.
Right.
In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, and God was right there with them. And it gave everybody that was reading the Torah pause to squint their eyes and read closer to what was actually being written and taught in the time at that.
Right. Wait, am I missing the point here? Real? All right. Verse 7?
Yeah, we'll go with so.
Okay. Yeah, we'll start there.
Yeah. Okay, and Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. Sounds like he's kind of like playing...
It sounds like a revival.
The middleman.
It sounds like a revival. That God high that you come off of when you go to like a Christian concert or a motivational speaker, and they're like, "Yes, we'll do it." And then
15 minutes
what
later.
happens later?
Yeah, right.
Want to go to the bar? No.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it seems like it seems like did Moses not know that God obviously heard it, or was he just going through the like? I'm not trying to sound mean, but I'm just saying it sounds like he's like, okay, yes, you all voted yes. Okay, good. Let me go up the mountain and talk to God now, because he's up there. Like,
well, don't forget, God did try to speak to them. They were like, "No, we're going to
oh,
die."
that's true.
So
They're like,
they didn't want to hear God's voice.
Yeah, they kind of denied it. They didn't want it.
Yeah,
it's
so
too
he had to
too
play
much.
The middleman,
Yeah,
the runner.
It's kind of like that favorite student or the golden boy who's like reporting back to God. Well, I did what you said, and this is what they said.
Yeah, little Billy's on my team today.
Verse 9, and the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. So maybe this hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is happening now.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today, tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. I think we should talk about that little section right there about being sanctified. Let me read this sentence real quick. And be ready against the third day. That means be ready on the third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. Notice he had to sanctify them.
It also says upon the mountain. Like he's going to be on top of it. He's not like walking down the mountain. He's going to be on top of the mountain. But right, so they had to sanctify. But I find it interesting that they also mention the clothes. Not just because sanctified, doesn't that mean to be set aside for a holy purpose?
Correct.
Okay, so if sanctified means to be set aside for a holy purpose, then they are setting themselves aside, like preparing themselves for a holy purpose. In other words, I don't know, getting ready for church, kind of thing. I know that's a real sloppy way to say it,
more than just church, but that could be a good easy.
Right. I mean, it's not really a preacher speaking. It's like the one the preacher preaches about speaking.
Yeah. It's
So consecrate.
Yeah, they had to wash their clothes and everything. That's we're going to be learning this here in the future, in the next 10 chapters or so, about what the priests had to do before going into the sanctuary. They had to wash their clothes themselves and all that. I do believe they had to fast.
I was going to say they had to do several things for several days before they could even go in there.
A whole bunch of the health messages is in here. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but cleanliness is not just, what you eat, or it's also how you hygiene.
So do you think that, speaking of hygiene, do you think that this was just God trying to teach them about hygiene, or just teach them a life lesson of sanctification, that it's not just, it's about, well, I'm going to respect God to the point that I'm going to also wash my outside not just sit there and be like, God, I'm sorry for all the what I
think
mean,
it's
like
a
that.
little bit of both.
I think it's like God's way of saying this is a test of the dense cloud system. For those that are approaching the mountain or getting ready to hear me, you need to do what I'm saying. You just got done telling Moses that you were going to do it, so let's put that to the test.
You just like Mark, step one.
Step one. Cleanse yourself
Yeah,
of all
cleanse
impurities. All right, so verse 12. And thou shalt be bound unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourself that you go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. That's like, I can imagine the very first bug zapper being Mount Sinai.
Okay, so
It gets graphic in the NIV. Let me reread that
All
in the NIV here. It says,
Go ahead.
Put limits for people around the mountain and tell them, be careful you do not approach the mountain or touch it with your feet. Whoever touches the mountain will be put to death. They are to be stoned or shot with arrows. Not a hand is to be laid on them. So even kill them from afar.
That makes me think of like radiation poisoning or something. It's like they were not clean enough. They still, even though they washed on the outside, they weren't yet washed on the inside, to the point where Moses was, where he could approach God, so he could go. But I feel like if they touched, they just like couldn't handle God's radiating glory to where they would die. I feel like it was more of a, you can't even touch them because that radiation is going to get you, like
what the Bible
you can't
does
handle
say that God is an all-consuming fire. the
right. I feel like it's
presence
more
of
they
God,
The
just
second fiery death.
yeah. So I feel like you just literally you couldn't handle it, and it's like it's the same with the water and the fire. We see that over and over again where. Like Moses, or if you're like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, if you're like Daniel with the lions, you can go into that all-consuming fire. You can go into that water and you'll be fine. But if you're not, you'll get destroyed. For your own protection, you will die if you touch me, basically. And no one can even touch you after that. Because
right.
Then they'll,
It's not saying that the cloud is deadly. This is just more limits. And if anyone touches it, then the people are supposed to kill the person.
I don't know if it's that. I think it's the actual, like, I think they would drop dead. Honestly, I think if they crossed into it, I think they would die.
Yeah, it's like he set up the protective
Shall be
boundaries.
stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or
okay,
man.
I missed that part.
It doesn't say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Where are we at?
Okay, we haven't read it yet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies.
But it's like when someone gets radiation poisoning, they don't necessarily die right away, but they're still like totally, they could be toxic to everyone else and they're gonna die a terrible death, so put them down. I don't know. That's how I've always pictured it. Obviously I could be totally wrong.
You're getting a little sciencey here, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, how is this, like, what are the literal reasons for this? I just feel like
it feels like that whole, if your left hand is sinning, cut it off, kind of thing. This is their first, okay, guys, this is what you're supposed to be doing right now. I'm telling you not to do it, and if somebody does, they're to be set apart.
It's over.
It's
Yeah.
over. And you have to take care of it yourselves because you're my people, and you have to watch out for each other.
Congratulations, you followed in the footsteps of Adam. You disobeyed me.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't know.
But then,
I think
they'd be put
it's
to death right then and there, though.
It would be like a reverence thing, though. Think about it, because they're trying to. Okay, think about where they came from. Okay, so where did they come from? They just came from Egypt, where, because of the polytheistic world they lived in for so many years, the respect and reverence you had for the gods was not the same that God's asking for. God is asking for absolute respect and obedience, and, like, you know what I mean? It's not like these other gods where it's like, yeah, I'll go over here and I'll worship this god today, or I'll go over here and I'll worship this one today. But the reason why I got excited about this, because when we talked about the Red Sea, I did bring up, which, by the way, Antonio was the one that kind of steered me toward these guys. Robert Cornuke and Larry Williams, that documentary they did, one of the things they took pictures of or found when they got to Mount Sinai was these borders that were around it. And they said, what was it, like every
couple of steps or something? Not
no,
steps,
it was
feet.
it was several meters. They said it was the moment you couldn't see, there was another pillar, so you could see it, and then you would walk to that pillar, and you could not see another pillar.
Too.
Yeah, he said you couldn't see that pillar until you got to that pillar, and then you could see the next one because they put it just out of sight that it was far enough, and they were marble pillars or something like that. Like it was amazing.
There were 12 of them too, wasn't there?
No, they around the whole border.
Yeah, wasn't it?
No, it was the whole mount. Because at least that's what it said here. I don't know how many they found, but I know that here it says put a border around the mount. So it sounds like they're quarantining the whole mountain off. Like, okay, this is the do not pass zone. But anyway, I'll put that link in the bottom below to that documentary again. So if you guys want to watch it and take time to kind of dive into that a little deeper, then go for it.
Anyway, where was I at? 12, 13? Okay, here we go. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned, or shot through, whether it be beast or man. It shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. There's another thing there. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. Now, where have you heard that before, I wonder?
Trumpet a lot of times.
Oh, yeah, a lot of trumpets.
Right. But
normally go up
it's
to the mount. Rapture.
Oh, yeah.
Rapture. The
trumpet sounds. Yeah, it talks about that in Revelation.
And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. That means there's no hokey pokey when you're sanctifying yourself.
The NIV, abstain from sex and sexual relations.
Keep it straight, Dom. There you go. This is flat forward right there.
And it came to pass that the third day in the morning, that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeded loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. That almost sounds like the wicked.
That's crazy. Up to this point, they really haven't directly experienced God, I don't think.
Well,
I think this is their first.
They followed him.
Yeah, the cloud and the pillar of fire.
He was, and then they followed it through the rivers.
The Red Sea.
The Red Sea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And they've also seen or heard of the powers that were coming from. They just, some people were either there knowing firsthand, well, this is coming from Moses, or, wow, there's a lot of frogs out here today. Right. Kind of buggy out here. What's going on?
Plus, there was thunder and lightnings. I mean, can you imagine seeing fireworks for the very first time? Like, maybe even living 30 years and never even heard of a firework, and all of a sudden the sky just lights up all these things.
Right.
So, but I'm sure they've seen thunder and storm before.
Well, if they didn't see it up to that point, I know they saw it in Egypt with the hail coming down and thunder and lightning.
They probably didn't see the thunder and lightning like this before. Can you imagine this one being so different?
I picture it in my head like taking a kid that you've watched DVDs and stuff, they watch movies, but then you take them and put in the very center of an IMAX movie, and they're going to go watch their favorite show, and there's sound all around them, and there's just TV screen wherever they look, so they are immersed in what they're here for, and they don't know what they're expecting, and when they see this, they're just in awe, like, and the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and
exactly.
You are just super aware of, wow, just wow.
It talks about the second coming where everybody's going to be rejoicing, and I'm reading this every single time. I'm thinking to myself, I might be rejoicing, but I'm going to be trembling at the same time.
Well, Scripture says he's going to return in the clouds. He's going to return with the entire host of heaven, basically, and yeah.
The heavens rolled up, not touching the ground.
Yeah.
That's important, you new Christians, because when Satan comes and poses as Christ before the second coming,
he says he's going to deceive people.
He's going to replicate the second coming in his image, and that's out there. As a matter of fact, if you ever watch Left Behind, that's there's similar stuff like that. but he's going to replicate the second coming, and he's going to touch the ground. The difference here is that the first time, Jesus will not touch the ground when he comes. And there's going to be a host of angels, and
It's going to be amazing.
heaven will be rolled up like a scroll. So we're going to be seeing difference in the sky. We're not just going to see some, long-haired, bearded guy in white robes saying, I am Jesus, come follow me, and he touches the ground and says all these things about some key things that we might talk about later.
I'll be happy for that new body because my old body be soiled as pants down there on earth.
I like what mine says in verse 17. It says, "And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet with God." Like God, people, God. Like
Here's your first ice cream show.
yeah, here's you go. There you go.
Where did I leave off? Number 14?
17.
17. And Moses brought forth the people out the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. What does that mean, nether?
Mine says foot.
The foot?
I'd say the base of the
nether,
mountain.
the base, like the nether
I would say the
regions.
base, yeah.
All right. and all
The
the
lower.
regions. Yeah, okay. I suddenly understand every
The
World of
nether
Warcraft tale now. The nether regions. I lost my spot.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
I can picture like Moses going all Gandalf on the people of Israel. See this line? You shall not pass.
sorry, Susanna, you're surrounded by nerds.
Yep.
And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. Can you say smoke more times in a single verse?
Right?
Yeah, mine here, just to add a little clarity, because like you said, it was a lot of smoke there. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because the Lord descended it in fire, and smoke billowed up from it like from a furnace.
Okay, so yours loses one of the smokes.
Yours
Does it say
isn't as
quaked greatly
smoky.
as well? Because that might be important.
Yeah, mine says quaked greatly.
Trembled violently.
Oh, there you go.
It's
I
not
can
a
just
knife.
picture
This
another
is a
Lord of the
knife.
Rings scenario there. Anyway, when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice.
I guess
Oh,
listening to the trumpet.
Mine says answered him with thunder, so that's interesting.
Moses answered with thunder?
No, it says God. Moses spoke, and God answered him with thunder, which is like not a voice, really.
Yeah, mine says God answered by voice. Maybe a loud voice?
Well, the Bible has, what should I say, coincided? No, that's not the right one. Well, anyway, it's synonymous with thunder and voice.
Oh,
Spoke with,
yeah.
like an
yeah.
archangel, the voice of an archangel.
Yep.
With thunder. So
The voice of God. Thunder.
very
yeah,
loud.
Yeah.
I think what they're trying to get here is that it was very loud. Imagine talking to a giant that's about, 30 feet high. Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
What?
Back with verse 19. So it's like in this whole section so far, it's mentioned God's approach with the sound of trumpet 3 times, and then they hear the sound of trumpets, and it's, I'm sure, earth shattering to them. Like, it's just crazy. You can't miss it. So it's later, when they, skipping ahead, when they're given all the feast days and stuff, and they talk about the Feast of Trumpets, and all you do is you blast a trumpet, but it's, imagine what they're thinking. Like God's saying, I want you to remember once a year, you're going to go out when you sight the new moon, and it's the one day too that doesn't have a specific day. So every feast day, it's like the 15th day of the 3rd month, right? Or so exactly.
So wait.
when it's
How are you
coming.
supposed to celebrate something without a date?
Because the Feast of Trumpets is the 7th month at the sighting of the new moon.
Oh.
So you don't. So what they would do is they would have watch nights. So the new moon could show up anytime between a day or 3 days, and they would wait, and they would all be watching and waiting in anticipation for the first sliver of the new moon. And as soon as it's sighted, then the watchman would blow the trumpets, and then everyone it'd be a big feast day, and like you'd blow the trumpets, but like so nobody knows the day or the hour, right? So when you go later in the New Testament, where Jesus is talking about no one
Nobody
knows the day
hour.
or the hour when the Son of Man is coming.
Oh,
And
wow.
what is he coming with? He's coming with the trumpet blast, right?
Oh, wow.
So
That's
like
what that new feast. That's what that feast is representing. Is a
right.
foreshadow.
So in hindsight, they're thinking when they're given that command to celebrate that feast every year, they're thinking God's presence approaching us with this trumpet blast. Throughout all of Scripture, the trumpet is always used. I mean, it's used constantly. It's either it's rallying Israel for battle. It's the defeat of enemies. It's proclaiming liberty. It's like a warning of judgment for your sin, or it's just the second coming, the day the day of the Lord. It's gathering God's people to worship. It's gathering them to come near to Him. So it's like so many things. So yeah, we just see when you do that, like they were looking back, but now we can look forward and see. We know that that's what's going to be coming when Christ comes.
It's interesting because the thing is, I was thinking when you said that, like the new moon, I'm thinking, do they not know? Do they not pay attention? But that's the thing is, the season, like the time frame, right? But you don't know the exact hour that it's actually going to. Oh, hey, there it is. There's the new moon. Like.
Well, and I think with
well, nowadays you could just Google it, like.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, even days, because they still have watchmen in Israel posted, every year on the 7th month to look for the moon. And whether it's cloudy, you can't always see it. So they still have that. We're waiting, there's still a couple days. So even though they can project what day it's going to be, that still isn't exactly the day. You only know, once it's sighted visually. So,
absolutely.
What are we supposed to be alert looking for? And we should be able to recognize the signs, because we're supposed to be growing in wisdom. We're supposed to be able to recognize evil, and we should be able to know when that's coming close. But yeah, we don't know the exact time. And when Jesus was saying nobody knows the day or the hour, that was a common idiom used for the Feast of Trumpets. So they knew what he was referencing, whereas we don't have that anymore, because we don't know what Hebrew idioms are.
Yeah, nobody wants to learn about the the feast anymore.
No, right.
Yeah,
No, that's awesome. Great comparison.
They're missing out on a lot of symbolism there.
That's awesome.
Well, and a lot of a lot of prophecy, and all this exciting stuff that still has to happen. So it's
Mm-hmm.
All right, so 21? No, 20. 20. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai and on the top of the mount. And the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. I wonder if they have to re-sanctify themselves even after the 3 days of sanctification.
Well, this would be a unique, I would assume, a sanctification on top of the sanctification. Wow. Or maybe God's just kind of like reiterating it. Hey, make sure now, Moses.
Could be. I would hope so. Wash yourself too many times. Dry your skin out. And Moses said unto the Lord, The people cannot come to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us. Set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. So he's really adamant about making these boundaries.
Well, this is in response, because God's telling him, go down there and tell the people not to come up. Don't force your way through to see God. And Moses is like, they can't even come up here. You told us to put limits. They're not going to come up here.
You always have that one. Don't touch the electric fence.
Right?
Is it on? Anyway. And the Lord said unto him, Away, get thee down.
Well, hold on though, because God just asked Moses to send up the priest. So I think that's why Moses is like, whoa, hold on. You just told us not to come up. Or you told the people not to come up. But then God is kind of like reiterating, well, hold on. Don't be such a smart aleck, kid. I just told you to do something else. Like
over here in the NIV, it says, Even the priests who approach the Lord must consecrate themselves, or the Lord will break out against them. So he's saying don't have anyone force their way up here. And the priests that are going to come up here, they have to consecrate themselves again before they come up.
Right.
And that's when the Lord's like, the people won't come up here. You told us to put warnings and boundaries around here. My curiosity is the word break. I've tried Googling it, looking in every translation, there, and they all differ. What does break out mean? Like, I don't know, is it like a rap battle? Is it like they're going to kill them? Is it a stoning? Is it what is the break out? Because it's used again later in a chapter, and I'm trying to fully understand this.
He's talking about them. The last has to do with them sanctifying themselves, or not sanctifying themselves. I apologize. It's do this or else.
NLT says...
and what is that or else? What is the break? That's what I'm trying to understand. Right. Is the break.
Even the priests who regularly come nearer to the Lord must purify themselves so that the Lord does not break out and destroy them. So it's definitely a punitive action.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Come on, share with the class.
No, you haven't shared your version yet there, Susanna.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh, mine, I think it's the same as just...
I meant what you think break is.
Yeah, breakout. Yeah.
Oh, like breakdancing. Gonna come out and...
wicked people.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, this is what it means. The breakout means... Okay, so in Scripture it talks about how sin cannot exist in the presence of God. And so what this means is God is literally basically, if I can word it this way, basically he's holding himself back, because if God gave his full glory, the entire nation would be destroyed. If you understand what I'm saying. So when he's saying break out, he's saying if they come to me and they're unsanctified, my glory will pour out upon them, and they will be destroyed if their sin is not sanctified. Not sin sanctified, but if they are not sanctified, in other words, their sins, I can't say washed away. What would you say? Cleansed? Like if you are not cleansed and you are not prepared to come into my presence, my glory will break out upon you. And because God is an all-consuming fire, and because his glory is just infinite, and sin cannot exist in front of him, what he's saying is he's literally saying this breakout is like, they're going to be gone. They're just completely gone if they come into my presence without being sanctified.
See, another parallel to, the second coming.
Yeah.
The wicked are going to be destroyed.
Oh, man, I didn't realize there was so much prophetic stuff in this one.
And
we only have a couple verses left.
Genesis chapter 20 in 6 months without having to stop. Oh, wait, this is parallel to this. So
go ahead, Susanna.
Well, just another, I guess like a parallel, but I guess saying that this then, God's putting all these protections, and he's saying, you guys cannot come on my mountain, stay off my mountain, like he's giving them all these warnings for their protection.
For your own
stay out of the street.
Yeah. But then, we see in the prophecy in Isaiah 2, which I know I've read this on this podcast before, but it's probably been a little while, where in the last days, the mountain of the house of the Lord will be established as the chief of the mountains and will be raised above the hills. And at this point, at the end of time, it says that all the nations will stream to it, and many people will come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may teach us concerning his ways, and that we may walk in his paths. For the law will go forth from Zion, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." It says, "Come, house of Jacob, let us walk in the light of the Lord." So it's like here in Exodus, they can't go up on the mountain. They're still dirty. They're not clean. You need a mediator. You need Moses and Aaron to go up there for you. And they go up there and they learn God's ways, and they learn the law, and they learn his teachings. And then they come down and they teach the people. But at the end of time, we've all been cleansed and sanctified. And those of us that have, the other ones, they'll be destroyed. But at that point, you then say, okay, let us go up on the mountain, and you can then go up yourself because you've been purified, we've been washed by the blood of Christ. But we have that mediator.
I was going to say, we have that mediator in Christ. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's been elevated, but to the point where we can go up and we can learn from God ourselves, So that's cool.
And how much influence do you think that this has had on even media nowadays? How many movies have we watched where people have to go and get knowledge from a person up on a mountain?
Oh yeah.
All the wise people are up in the mountains. Even Doctor Strange that's out there now, and they had to go,
Up to the
way up to the
mountain
top mountain and be with the priests and those that are up there. It's interesting how here in the Bible we're talking about the man in the mountain being all wise and all powerful, and how it plays into storytelling of our current state.
So hold on. Who is, quiz time, who is the high priest right now? No?
No.
In the story.
In the story.
Oh, in the story.
That,
Isn't
Who-
it Aaron?
It's Aaron.
Aaron,
Who
yeah.
is Aaron?
Moses'
Moses'
brother.
brother.
Moses' brother. I'm putting that together. I'm like, this means more now, because we're talking about God telling Moses to go get your brother, who's the high priest apparently right now, and he has to sanctify